Your emotions are probably behind the management of your money. You want to know how not to do that? Stay tuned. Hello, my loves. Thank you for joining me. My name is Norby, and today we're going to talk about how to avoid managing your money through emotions. And when we talk about that, you think, Norby, money, emotions, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But as a therapist, I can tell you, a lot of people manage their money because of how they feel, and especially as we're getting close to the holidays. So let's talk about what are the 3 questions that you need to ask yourself during this holiday season or as special events come up so that you can really avoid spending money that you don't have and getting in more debt. So let's start with question number 1. What beliefs did you have growing up about money? When you think about that question, I really want you to stop and think about the people who you grew up with, whether it was your parents or grandparents, if you had siblings. What was money equivalent to in your home? Was it safety? Was it something that was really scarce and you had to really hold on to it? Maybe it was a sign of love. That is how your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, when they wanted to give you love, maybe they gave you money or they bought you things. But why is it important? Because when we don't take the time to ask ourselves these questions, we kind of go on autopilot and we start repeating the patterns from the people that raised us. So you might not realize it, and currently you might be doing the same thing that you did when you were a child, but with your kids. So if your parents, if there was never enough money and it was always scarce, maybe that's the mindset that you have. Or maybe your mom always went shopping when things were stressful, and maybe you find yourself now going shopping when you're stressed out. So that's why it's really important to ask yourself, what did money signify to me? Because we want you to become aware of those beliefs. Question number 2, what does money represent for you now? So let's say that maybe you grew up in a really poor family or where money was really scarce, but now you have a good job, you got an education, or you did inherit some money or made some money. What does money represent now? And that's also just as important, because when you think about, okay, am I trying to give somebody a sign of appreciation and that's why I'm buying them a present? Am I trying to not feel guilty after I did something? Maybe you're buying your wife a present because you forgot an anniversary, or maybe because you did something you weren't supposed to. So think about, what does money represent for you now? And again, having you become aware of these belief systems that you have in place is what we do in therapy. It's what a lot of therapy does, is just bring awareness to those things. So I want you to ask yourself, what does it represent now for me? And what am I really trying to give the other person? If I had to put a word, if I had to use an emotion for what it is I'm trying to give them, is it love? Does money equal love for me? Does money equal appreciation? Does money equal gratefulness? Does a gift equal forgiveness? And I want you to really put thought into all of that, because that will also help for the next question. Question number 3. What do you want to teach your kids and other people about money? So this one's particularly helpful if you're a parent. It also helps if you don't have kids yet and you're thinking about them in the future, or you don't want kids at all, but you have other people in your life like parents or aunts and uncles that you take care of. But what do you want those people around you to learn about money? If you have kids and you're modeling to your kids, just like I said with your mom, if your mom was stressed out and she went shopping, if you're modeling to your kids that when we want to show appreciation and love to someone, we buy them something, you're giving them this underlying belief that without money, they can't do that, which is actually quite unfortunate, because many times when you think about the resources that we have and the things that really matter in life, there's typically 3 things that money can't buy that are more important. 1 is time, number 2 is health, and the third one is energy. So if you take away the health piece, when you want to give somebody love and appreciation, if you give them your time and energy, that will mean more than any gift of any worth, really, that you can buy that person. And so we want to make sure that we're teaching our kids that, so that they know, you know what? Life isn't about the material things. And my love, something really interesting that research has found is that we remember experiences. We don't necessarily remember things. So this holiday season, or if you have a special occasion coming up, I want you to really think about this. After you ask yourselves those 3 questions, I want you to think about this. What's the purpose for this gift that I'm buying this other person? Am I doing it out of obligation because that's just what we do, is we just buy each other gifts for Christmas or for whatever, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate? Am I doing it because I actually don't want to have to think about putting effort into whatever it is that I'm just tell me what you want and I'll just buy it for you? Or do I really want to make an impact in this person's life? Because if you do, and also if you're in debt, my loves, if you have credit card debt, please don't go buy any gifts. Please don't get into any more debt, because the only thing that you're going to be doing is adding more stress that maybe right now you might not think about it because you're just swiping that card and tapping that card and it makes it so easy for us. But guess what? Come January, come February, come the rest of the year, you're digging yourself a deeper hole and you're getting this bad debt, right? This negative debt that's not helpful. And not all types of debt are harmful, and we talk about that in another video, but credit card debt is, and especially if you're having to pay interest on it. So if you don't have the money, especially, but even if you have the money, I want you to think about when you're going to give somebody a gift or when you're going to spend money on something, what's really the reason that I'm doing it? And if it is that I want to make that person feel loved and special and cared for, then maybe there's something else that you guys can do together. Maybe there's an experience that you can do together, like cooking a meal. Maybe go on an expedition of some kind. Like, we've never been to this museum. Let's go to the museum together. It's free. Find local resources of things that you can do and spend that time and that energy with the people that you love, which will create an experience that will mean a whole lot more than a gift that maybe they didn't want or they didn't need, and then they're only going to use for a short period of time. All right, my loves, thank you so much for being here again. I hope this is useful for you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give it a like, and I'll see you in the next video of Ask Norby.